Yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai. Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai lai lai. Try it. The words are really easy. Yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai. Yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai lai lai. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Cantor Shakit, Shabbat Shalom. So many friends, and you're here, and I'm feeling nervous because the row.
I know.
They only do this on the high holidays. They pull the front row forward. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Thank you for sitting right up here.
And thank you all for being with us to celebrate Shabbat. I know you're anticipating that you're going to be with us and like again and again and again, but you're here now. You're here not only to celebrate Shabbat. Some of you are our friends and our guests who are here to celebrate with two young men becoming bar mitzvah on this Shabbat. And we welcome everyone who's part of Sam and Kellen's families on this happy occasion. Others are here having experienced loss or here to say Yartzeit. And we hope that the service will lift you a bit, and the happiness of some people around you will be a balm, a support, a help. And some people are just here because they had a really busy week and they want to,
Just let it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone? Okay, thank you, Sam, Sarah, thank you. Matt, okay. And I want to even begin, before we begin singing, which is, of course, really the best way, the very best way, to let go of the week, right? Even before we begin, I have to say thank you to you.
You're welcome.
As
What
I
do?
saw
Wait,
in
I'm
the
gonna
cue
sit down and
sheet,
watch.
yes, that you
Bring it
picked-
on.
Yeah, my daytime husband, who I appreciate so much, and then Kevin, of course, too.
We ought to get together, Kevin. You and I ought to get together. I have some stories.
But I see we're going to sing the song that, and Frank knows this too. This is a song that some of you know a little bit, maybe some of you know, but I grew up singing this song in my synagogue almost every Friday. This was like the way we sing L'Chadodi almost every Friday, but not this Shabbat.
Right.
Once in a while we take a break. This was like almost every Friday at Mainline Reform in Wynwood, Pennsylvania. Anyone? Wynwood, Pennsylvania? Speak to me, of course. Danita and I are, yeah. So thank you for singing this song.
Yeah, we sang it a lot too in Baltimore. It was
You
a
did?
popular song back in the
Back in our
70s.
yeah, those of us who are of a certain age. Some of you may know, and I hope like this song too. Thank you, Cantor Shakit and
Sure.
Frank, for sharing this.
So on that note, we are on page 10 in your prayer books. The bottom, Shabbat Hamalka, the sun on the treetops. It's also known as, in English, as Queen Sabbath. So let's join together.
It's
I think
an
we
oldie,
start
I'm telling
in the
you,
Hebrew.
but you're gonna love it. Who knows it?
Oh, they're gonna
Not
learn
a lot
it.
of people.
Hachama merosha ilanot nistaleka bo'u v'netze likrat Shabbat hamalka hine hi yoredet hakedosha berucha ve'ima malachim tzva shalom u'menucha Boi, boi, hamalka, boi,
you love it?
Try it in English. The sun on the treetops no longer is seen. Come gather to welcome our Sabbath, our Queen. Behold her descending, the holy, the blessed, and with her the angels of peace and of rest. Draw near, and here abide. Draw near, O Sabbath bride. Peace also to you, you angels of peace. You're welcome. Did anybody like it?
Thank you. It was old world but special, right? Tell me thank you. They're just humoring me, but I loved it.
Well, it's, we have all different kinds of traditions in music to sing in our movement. And so, and we're going to learn a little bit more about the High Holy Day music a little bit later. But this is a great time, not only through our voices to build community, but for you to greet each other and build community. Say hi to someone who is sitting around you haven't seen since maybe last Shabbat, or someone you haven't seen for a long time as we prepare for our service. It is.
We've welcomed one another by saying hello. We've begun to kind of get into the spirit of Shabbat in music, and now we turn to the traditional welcoming of Shabbat in our homes, and this is our spiritual home. This is our community home, and so we light candles here as well. And in honor of Kellen and Sam becoming bar mitzvah on this Shabbat, we invite up both their moms, Gabby and Emily, to lead us in candle lighting, which, by the way, is on page 3 in your prayer book. The blessing is on page 2, so if you both can come up.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Thank you. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Okay, thank you.
Let's join together in the blessing on page 2. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel And now we'll welcome Shabbat with the singing of Shalom Aleichem tonight, found on page 24 in your prayer books. Page 24, let's sing together to this melody that is so very familiar. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And now if you'll turn to page 28, and if you're comfortable to rise for the Shema and its blessing section of our service as we sing the Baruch Hu, our call to worship. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai.
On page 30, won't you join me in the Hebrew of this prayer for beautiful evenings? The humidity is waning. It's getting dusk-like. It's really going to be, if the rain holds off, a beautiful evening. Won't you join me in Ma'ariv Aravim? Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Asher Bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim Bechokma Poteach She'arim Uvidvona Mishanei Itim Umachalif et Hazmanim Umisader et HaKochavim B'mishmerotehem B'rakia Kirtzono Borei Yom V'Layla Golel Or Mipnei Hoshech V'Hoshech Mipnei Or Uma'avir Yom Umevi Laila Umavdil Bein Yom Uvein Laila Adonai Tzevaot Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim. And this week I came across a poem that was written for the Ma'ariv Aravim of the Shabbat before the New Year. And so, of course, it's exceedingly fitting as we're just approaching Rosh Hashanah. It was written by Rabbi Rachel Bernblatt. As days are waning. The new year starts as days are waning. I'm never really ready when the first leaves turn, but every Jewish day begins with evening, darkness before light, since the very beginning. I'm never really ready when the first leaves turn, roll the scroll towards the end of our story, darkness before light, since the very beginning. Am I ready to turn and face what's coming? Roll the scroll towards the end of our story. Can I open my hands and let go of summer? Am I ready to turn and face what's coming? You know what they say about endings. I open my hands and let go of summer. Paint every cracked and broken place with gold. You know what they say about endings. Turn the page, start a chapter, begin again. Paint every cracked and broken place with gold. Every Jewish day begins with evening. Turn the page, start a chapter, begin again. The new year starts as days are waning. We turn now to that prayer that, like this poem, grounds us in our tradition, the Shema, a few pages later.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated, and won't you join us in chanting V'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
The poem I shared talked about and referred to beginnings, new chapters. For our people, making their way across the Sea of Reeds led them to a new chapter, a chapter of freedom, a chapter, though, which was full of unknowns and uncertainty. We stand, as they did, on the shores of the sea really all the time. Well, there's always something that is going to be new and challenging, as it was for our ancestors and for us too. So while Mi Chamocha is part of every Shabbat service, it is also sort of that song that says, I was standing at the edge and I'm ready to take the step into the next chapter. And so in a way, it's also a Shana Tova song, a New Year song. So as we think about the new year coming in just a few days, and Shabbat, in which we are grounded at this time, we sing on page 40, Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot osei peleh, nora tehilot osei peleh, malchutcha ra'u vanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze Elianu Ze'eli anu ve'amru Adonai Imloch Leolam Va'ed Adonai Imloch Leolam Va'ed Yai Lai Yai Lai 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 Yai Lai 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 Yai Lai Yai Lai 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 Yai Lai 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 V'nehemar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov Ugealo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch Ata Adonai Ka'al Yisrael.
While the journey that comes from Mi Chamocha is a personal one, it is also a communal one, and as we as a congregation and as a Jewish community face the new year with all the challenges that are part of this country, with all of the challenges that are happening in Israel, we ask God for protection in this new chapter and on this journey. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu is a prayer asking for that protection. On page 43 at the top, let us read together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapuro sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Vishamru is page 44, our prayer about Shabbat. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam brit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים מצא אדוני עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת. We've come to the tefillah section of our service, beginning on page 46. If you're comfortable, please rise as we chant the first few pages together. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 48. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avod v'imaot, U'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch Ata Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Page 50. Ata Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol, Ata Rav lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofe cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishene afar, Micha molcha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata lehachayot hakol, Baruch ata Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Page 52. Ata kadosh v'shimcha hakadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha sela, Baruch ata Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. You may be seated. On the next page, 53, in the middle there is this iyun, a little prayer of the heart that talks about the search for God's holiness. And I love this melody. We don't do it that often. The poem is by Yehuda Halevi, and the melody is very contemporary. Ya ana emtsa'acha. Ya ana emsacha mekom kana alav ne'elam ve'ana lo emsacha kevodcha malei olam. Ya ana emsacha mekom kana alav ne'elam ve'ana lo emsacha kevodcha malei olam. Darashti kirvatcha bechol libi keraticha uvetzeti likratcha mitzaticha. Yai lai la lai lai, yai la lai lai, yai la lai 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 lai, yai la lai lai, yai la lai, yai la lai 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 lai. Darashti kirvatcha bechol libi keraticha uvetzeti likratcha likrati metzaticha. Lai 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 yai la lai, yai la lai 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 lai, yai la lai lai, yai la lai lai la lai lai, yai lai lai. Page 55. Let's read together at the top of the page. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We'll read the final three blessings of the Amidah on the next few pages silently, and then we'll take a moment after our silent prayers to pray for those things that are most important to us, including peace in the Middle East, including peace for all the people who have gone through the Hurricane Helene, and all those who are struggling, that we hope and pray that they too find peace in their own hearts, as we do, and then we'll come back together in song. Let it come like wildflowers, 'cause the field wants peace. Let it come like wildflowers, 'cause the field wants peace. Wild peace. Wild peace. Say shalom bimroma, uya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. That poem set to music by Yehuda Amichai was set to music by Cantor Michaeli.
As we think about the theme of peace and the feeling of peace, especially that came from that beautiful song, we are also well aware that there are many people in the midst of our congregational family and some of your families who are not experience a sense of peace or wholeness. They are struggling with challenges, medical, emotional, physical, spiritual. And it is our tradition at our congregation to offer a prayer for their well-being and their wholeness. And as we say this prayer, we'll invite in a moment or two all of you to add names of people you might be thinking of who could use more peace in their lives. Misha berach avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, v'imotenu Sar, Rivcha, Rachel, v'Leah, hu yivarech v'yirapeh et hacholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all those people in the midst of our community who are ill, including Alon ben Sarah, Alon ben Barbara, Hannah bat Shoshana, Fumahana bat Hinda Yentl ve'Israel Pavel, Paul Chandler, Marcy Friedman, David and Judy Loffman, Ellen Morgenstern, Jim Palumbo, Margie Reisberg Goldstein, Ina Strickart, Beth Silver, and names that you'd like to speak aloud as we go around the sanctuary. Thank you. Thank you. May the Holy One be filled with compassion and cause their health to be restored and their strength revived, and may they be granted a complete healing of body and mind and spirit. And we also pray for the healing of our world and its inhabitants. We ask God's blessing on our country and its leaders, that our nation may always be a force for justice and good. We offer a prayer, too, for our brothers and sisters in the land of Israel. May they be blessed with peace and harmony under the shelter of God's wings. May the bonds that unite the Jews of all lands be a source of strength to Israel and us all. And we turn now to our prayer for healing, Misha Beirach. If you need the words, they're on page 253.
Misha Beirach imotenu mekol habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Rabbi Schwartzman, close your ears. Rosh Hashanah is only 5 days away.
I'm good.
Are you? Haven't seen that sermon yet. Okay. Now, I know for some of you, the High Holy Days are simply another time to come to temple that you love so much, to hear those incredible sermons, hear the great music, connect to your past through traditions of the holidays, and see your temple friends. But the Holy Days, which are also called Yamim Noraim, mean the days of awe. They are truly that, the most awesome days of the year. When we hear the sound of the shofar and awaken ourselves to the message of the season. When we engage in a re-examination of ourselves. When we contemplate on what the year has meant for us, what kind of people we've become, and what might be ahead for the new year. It's a time when we are judged, not only by ourselves or even others, but most importantly by God. To stand before God's almighty presence and pray the prayers of our hearts and souls, hoping to be written in the book of life for a year of happiness and sweetness, well, that's an awesome, sacred task, one that we shouldn't take lightly, one that we enter with a degree of trepidation and nervousness. We put on our best clothes. We clean and polish. We bring out the special prayer book for those all-filled prayers. And we pack our worship spaces ready to be inspired, to be moved, to be taken to a new spiritual place within ourselves. That is the place where God sits in judgment. On Yom Kippur, we come back for more. But this time, as we've re-examined ourselves, we are ready to pour out our hearts and confess our sins to God. Not the sins that we committed against another person. Those are up to each of us to correct person to person. But now we are ready to really open up to God and spill out our insides, pleading for forgiveness for all those errors in judgment we made this year. Just writing that, I became truly nervous. I mean, this is an awesome task, is it not? So let me ask you, what kind of music merits these awesome days of all? Is it Shana Tova, hey, Shana Tova, hey? Or is it more like Avinu Malkeinu Shema Koleinu, Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu Lefanecha, Avinu Malkeinu Chamol Aleinu Ve'alol Aleinu Ve'tapeinu. I saw some heads shaking yes on that. The music of the High Holy Days is supposed to help you find awe in the days of awe. It's supposed to inspire, to teach, to move your emotions and arouse your heart. When you hear that very old ancient motif of the High Holy Day season, Frank, that melody, just the melody alone, should serve as an alarm clock to help wake you up to your inner selves, to recognize that that musical motif means it's Rosh Hashanah, right? Just like when you hear this melody, Frank. You should say, Hanukkah. Very good. Or how about this melody? What is it? Pesach. Very good. The alarm melody on our Jewish time clock reminds us, without even looking at the calendar, that it is a particular holiday. And we should be comforted by this. It strikes a chord, no pun intended, deep in our memories if you grew up hearing those melodies. There are many moments of the holiday season that are filled with memory. The holidays can take us back to our youth, to those days when we would sit in the pews of our childhood sanctuary, perhaps next to your grandparents who would find great comfort in the prayers. Perhaps the melody of a particular prayer that you only hear at the High Holy Days is the same melody sung by your childhood cantor or choir. In an instant, through music, like Rabbi Schwarzman was in the beginning of our service, you are reunited with those moments of your past. For many, it's a truly comforting time. Whether it is the traditional melodies of the holidays, the grand and magnificent choral moments of Rosh Hashanah, or even the deep, thoughtful, subdued music of Yom Kippur, the music is selected to help inspire you and elevate your soul to a level that allows you to feel the grandeur and awesome power of those sacred days. And so the focus then, unlike Shabbat, is not necessarily on singing along. The music is not as familiar. The music is beautiful and expansive. As our prayer book reminds us, the High Holy Days are awesome and full of dread. The music helps us feel these powerful words. Take the Shema, for example, the old traditional Shema written by Solomon Sulzer of Austria that we sang tonight. Shema Yisrael, right? You know that melody. That is not the Shema that we sing at our evening High Holy Day services. While it may be traditional and easy to sing along with, it is our everyday Shema. And for the same reason that we don't use our everyday dishes on the High Holy Days or wear our everyday clothes on the High Holy Days, we pull out the special melodies as well. The melody for the Shema, the central prayer of our liturgy, should be regal and grand. It should be a little scary, because we are coming before God's presence shortly and are going to be judged. Polish your shoes, put on your best suit, fix your tie, comb your hair, and sing Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. That is an awesome melody. How then do we fully engage in worship when we don't know enough to vocally participate? First of all, you can sing. There are melodies in our liturgy that I hope you will, and you always do, join in on. Zochrenu, the prayer that is inserted in the middle of the Avot prayer on the 10 days of repentance, which reminds us that this is a day of remembrance. The prayer asks God to write us in the book of life. This comes in every service to a traditional melody that we sing here. Zochrenu lechaim, melech hafetz ha'chaim, v'chotvenu b'sefer chachayim, lemancha Elohim chayim. That's singable, and we sing it so often that it should become familiar. But we even sometimes attach a fun tune to it in our evening services. Zochrenu lechaim, melech hafetz b'chaim. Zochrenu lechaim, melech hafetz b'chaim. V'chotvenu b'sefer chachayim. Lemancha Elohim chayim. Kind of sounds Jewish, doesn't it? What if I put these words to it? If I were a wealthy, wealthy man. But I also encourage you to pray with your ears. Active listening can be a powerful tool for engaging in a spiritual experience. A congregant once told me, I love being in the sanctuary and just letting the music wash over me. When you're not vocally engaged, then engage mentally and spiritually. Reading the translation of a prayer being sung can give insight on the musical message being conveyed. The pages of our Machzor are full of writings and meditations written by scholars and rabbis and teachers from throughout Jewish history. I invite you during the holidays to choose from these readings and open your mind to their meanings as you open your heart to the beauty of the music. Of course, you can simply close your eyes and bask in the awe, the sacredness of this day. The beginning of the Yamim Noraim, the days of awe, is all about listening, really. Listening to our hearts as we move ourselves spiritually. From the opening majestic notes of the Matovu on Rosh Hashanah morning, to the first Tekiah of the Shofar, which you'll hear Wednesday night, to the final Tekiah Gedolah of the concluding Yom Kippur service, we are moved by our ears, our voices, and our hearts. We have turned. Even the blessing of the shofar commands us to listen. In most blessings, we say the special bracha that then allows us to perform the act. The blessing before we sound the shofar, however, is not a blessing at all for the shofar blower who's about to blow the shofar, but rather it is a blessing for us, the listener. The bracha ends, lishmoa kol shofar, to hear the sound of the shofar. This is our mandate, to hear, to listen, to move our hearts and minds and our souls to action through the beauty, the majesty, and the awesome nature of the High Holy Days. On these days of all coming up, in 5 days, Rabbi Schwartzman, let our melodies move us towards the sacred act of repentance. We say in our prayers, Shema Kolenu, Shema Kolenu, hear our voice, O God, and inscribe us for blessing in the book of life. May all the prayers we sing and may all the prayers we hear fill us with awe and turn us back to the one who delights in song. Shema Kolenu Adonai Eloheinu Chus v'rachem Aleinu עלינו, וקבל ברחמים, ברחמים וברצון את תפילתנו. השיבנו אדוני אליך, השיבנו אליך ונשובה, חדש ימינו, ימינו כקדם. תשליכנו אל תשליכנו לעת זקנה כי כלות כוחנו אל תעזבנו. שם הקולנו אדוני אלוהינו חוס ורחם עלינו, עלינו וקבל ברחמים, ברחמים וברצון את תפילתנו. Shana Tova to all of you.
Even slightly short of being ready for Rosh Hashanah, I now feel so much more ready. And indeed, to be honest, you know, our tradition tells us you can't just show up on the night and like think you're going to get something out of it. You have to, in increments, get there, get there, get there. And thank you for helping us with some pretty big steps in getting there. It was beautiful being reconnected to that very special music. We come to the last part of our service, Aleinu L'Shabeach, and standing at the Ark with us will be our B'nai Mitzvah for tomorrow, Kellen and Sam, and we invite both of their dads, Gus and Stephen, to come up and have the honor of opening the Ark. We're on page 282 in the prayer book, page 282. Won't you rise and join us and Sam and Kellen in this prayer? You guys can open the Ark.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגבהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 287.
May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair.
Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity, cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We've come now to our moment of memory. We make space to think about and hold all those people whom we have loved and lost, and especially as we approach the season of the new year. There are so many people about whom we are thinking, remembering, wanting to honor their memories. We take some time now to think about people who we miss so much, especially on this Shabbat. Many of you have yahrzeits on this Shabbat every year. Others here in the congregation are in the first 30 days of mourning, which we call Shaloshim. We take some time to ground ourselves, to support one another, to perhaps select a poem or a reading on the next few pages, or just to share a memory or reflect on a memory of someone you have loved. On this Shabbat, before we turn to our Shloshim list, we begin by extending our condolences to our member, Mimi Weisberg, on the death yesterday of her father, Max Weisberg. And to those people who are here in just these first early days, and I remind everyone that if you're here remembering someone and you'd like to stand upon hearing their name, it enables us to identify you as a mourner, to extend our condolences and our love and support of you if you'd like. We extend our condolences to Chuck Lefton on the death of his brother Eric, to Jack Maskell on the death of his brother Stephen, to Adam Herzog on the death of his father Richard Herzog, and Cicely Wake on the death of her father James Thompson, to David Hoffman on the death of his mom Judith, to Lee Kaplan on the death of his aunt, Carol Boglio, to Randy Wallen and Alex Lilchuk on the death of their son, Noah, to Harvey Bronstein on the death of his cousin, Richard Spivak, and our congregation mourns the loss of our member, Barbara Green. And to these names, we add the names of people whose yahrzeits fall on this Shabbat every year. Harold Alpert, Harrison Anthus, Harriet Baker, Annie Bazol, Paul Blumenthal, Daniel Brennan, Vicky Carmel, Ruth Chazen, Richard Kober, June Geller Datlow, Edith Eber, Samuel Fine, Mike Fossier, Ilona Frank, Alan Franklin, Florence Gans, Hilda Gershwin, Helen Gillis, Beatrice Goldstein, Fred Gruen, Harold Herman, Annette Herzog, Phyllis Himmel, Bernard Holden, Alfred Jacobs, Morris Katz, Eleanor Klein, Milton Corman, Leonore Leibovitz, Louis Landsberg, Sidney Lerner, Zivia Levine, Evelyn Locke, Robert Mirsky, Al Posevsky, Robert Rankin, Tom Remy, Michelle Rich, Ron Salin, Irene Scher, Neville Sender, Marshall Shapiro, Sophie Shapiro, William Shapiro, Michael Shefferman, Bonnie Scher, Herschel Simon, Ralph Slatow, Paul Sonnenthal, Shirley Sanoski, Marilyn Spill, Fanny Sprinkle, Florence Sternberg, Samuel Welt, and John Zavala. And if there's a name that you'd like to say at this time, a name you'd like to add to our list, a name that maybe I mispronounced and you'd like to say it again, I'd invite anyone who would like to say a name, please stand so we know you're about to say a name. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We very much want to be there for all of you, to stand shoulder to shoulder with you as you recite the Mourner's Kaddish. It's our custom for the entire congregation to rise with our mourners to recite Kaddish Yatom together. On page 294, Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute, v'chaye chon u'v'yome chon u'v'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mivarach leolam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar B'talal shemei dekudesha b'rirchu, leolam mimkol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiram be'alma v'imeru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the source of peace and comfort and strength, love and support to all who are mourning, to all who are grieving here and everywhere, and let us say, amen. Won't you please be seated? We're very grateful to have past president of our congregation, Amy Beckman, who's been on the bima so many times, with us again to offer some greetings, to share some announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi Schwartzman, and thank you, Cantor Shakit, for a beautiful Shabbat service, our final Shabbat before the new year. And I want to say Shabbat Shalom to everyone here. And it's my sincere pleasure on behalf of the TRS Executive Board and our Leadership Council, I'm honored to welcome all of you to worship tonight. It's great to be together, whether you're here in person or at home streaming us. If you're new to Temple Rodef Shalom, it would be a joy to welcome you properly and tell you more about our wonderful community. Please feel free to approach myself or our clergy and say hello during our Oneg Shabbat, which will be in the grand hallway after the service. You will see Erica and I monitoring the compostable bin and the trash bin so that we get as much as we can into our compostable, so pay attention and say hello to us. And please see inside your program for a selection of our upcoming programs. Details about announcements are there, and our entire program calendar and details can be found in the latest edition of The Connection and on our website. And we hope to see everyone again soon. And finally, a mazel tov to our B'nai Mitzvot and their families, and have fun and good luck tomorrow. And Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Thank you.
We're going to turn to page 5 in our prayer books and rise for Kiddush and invite Kellen and Sam to come forward and join us as we sing the Kiddush together. Come over here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikrai kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki avanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. Chaim.
Just a word before we conclude with a song and the final blessing. Reminder, if you don't mind, if you're not taking the program home, you could bring it back to the back of the sanctuary. And also, if you were touched and uplifted by the music that Cantor Shakat shared, tomorrow evening we have the traditional service of Slichot, and it'll be another opportunity to sort of touch base and warm yourself up in ideas as well as music to the high holidays. So.
Absolutely. We are going to end with a song that you'll hear again on Rosh Hashanah, Yigdal, page 324 in your prayer books, page 324. We'll do the first 2 verses and the last verse. Please join us. Yigdal Elohim chai ve'yishtabach נמצא ויינט אל מציאותו אחד ואין יחיד כאיכותו נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף לא נערוך אליו קדושתו קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברח ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו חיי עולם נטע בתוכנו ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו חיי עולם נטע בתוכנו Baruch Adei Ad Shem Tehilato.
May this Shabbat be a taste of the holiness, the sacredness that will come to us as well in Rosh Hashanah, in Yom Kippur, and in the New Year. Shana Tova and Shabbat Shalom.
Shana Tova, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.